I've probably worked like 50 different jobs in my lifetime. I mean, I've been a dishwasher, car washes, a telemarketer, managing bands, event planners, tech company, data analysis, warehouse doing furniture repair, just a wide variety of things. And you meet so many different people, so many different kinds of personalities, and you kind of start to see patterns and trends in people, and you kind of learn how to talk to people. Just things that I've noticed that universally will help a relationship. The first thing is entering any relationship, enter it with the mindset that you're intending to work for it. I mean, things are going to happen. Things are going to go wrong. Things are going to go really right. But the thing is, if you're always with the intent of working for it, you're always prepared for when these changes happen. You know, going in there knowing that it's going to be work. Any relationship. Ask anyone who's ever dated anyone. Ask anyone who has a partner in business who went in, and ask anyone who has a team for just vlog channels, gaming channels. It's very important that you're always working to better the relationship and better yourself. If you know things will happen, you won't be surprised when things happen. That's a huge one. It's really important. And give them what they need. Give them what they need. If you realize a person's communication style is something, if there are patterns you have already picked up way before even seeing this, then give them that. Give them that. You know what you need, but do you know what they need? When you do, it'll open doors. So leading into the second thing is give them attention. Everyone wants attention. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to know that they're seen, know that they're heard, and feel like someone cares about what they're doing. Everyone wants attention. It doesn't matter who it is, even if it's a person that likes their time alone, their solitude. When they do have something to say, it's even more critical to pay attention to that, because they don't say much. But when they do, it's important to pay attention to it. A big one right now is looking at the person. Like, look at him when you're talking to him. A lot of people get distracted by, TV, by your phones and everything, just kind of scrolling through. I mean, it happens. It happens to everyone. I was probably looking through my phone about 10 minutes before this started. But if you look at the person, if you really look at them, it's giving them this kind of attention benefits both of you. One, it makes them feel like you are genuinely concerned with what they're saying. Two, it gives you the information that you need. You can see their facial expressions. You can see their hand gestures. And a lot of what we say, it's not in the words. It's in the tone. It's in the gestures that go with it. The words you use can be interpreted a million different ways. You can say, "There's your report." Or you can say, "Oh, there's a report." Exact same words, different tone. Tone and gestures and expressions will really help you get a feel for the situation and the person. Another big thing that I can say will really help in any relationship is to make them feel appreciated. Even in the small things, even just saying thank you can be enough to really kind of put someone at ease with you. You're having a meeting somewhere in a coffee shop and they bought you tea before you got there. It's like, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I like tea. Tea is delicious. Thank you. You really helped me out." That it really kind of just gives people the affirmation that they need within themselves. It's also very important to not only appreciate what a person does well, but what they don't do well. When a person feels like they're lacking in something, and you acknowledge that they are trying to better it, or that you notice when it is better, it'll make a huge difference in their confidence, for one thing, and in their trust of you, when they realize that, you're not just there with them because they're good at something, you're there with them also because of them. Appreciating a person's flaws will give you a much deeper connection with that person. It'll give you a rounded view of them as a whole, and it's telling them that you care about the big picture. The big picture. Another great way to make someone feel appreciated is if you notice something is important to them. There's something they do. You notice that their Instagram, they're always posting about like charitable events they're doing, or they're always tweeting about certain movies they like, or something with their kids, family, and you do something small in that aspect. You ask their advice on a charity giving, or you happen to come across like a toy and you brought it for their kid. I think that really says something, especially if it's not something that's been directly conveyed to you. If they haven't walked up and said, I love this, this, and this. What do you think? But you just happen to notice it and you're like, hey, I noticed this is kind of important in your life. Here's just a small gesture that I wanted to do to show you that you're important to me. For whatever reason, you're important to me. Another great one, especially in the workplace, is ask questions. Ask questions about everything. Ask questions, ask personal questions, ask business questions, ask everything. Because the more you know, the more you can do. And the more that you ask these questions, get people engaged, the more they want to engage with you. Ask them questions. If a person is telling you about something, it's because it's probably important to them. And a way to show that you're genuinely interested in what's important to them is by asking questions. Someone says, man, I had a rough day. Ask them why, what happened? And if they say, oh, it was a rough day because we had to go over this, and this with this team, and this didn't work out, and then this person came in and they were just yelling at everyone, follow it up with, well, how do you feel about it now? Or, that just kind of continually ask questions about it. The more you ask, the more you know, and the more you know, the better off you'll be. And just in everything, always ask questions. And speaking of which, like, how are you doing today? I feel like I've just been talking this entire video, what's going on with you? Last but definitely not least in this is giving up the need to be right about something. It's hard. It is hard, especially when you know that what you're saying has been proven time and time again if someone just doesn't get it. But honestly, if you can put the way you feel about something aside and really just kind of assessing the situation, whatever it may be, kind of stepping into that person's shoes will help give you perspective. And maybe if you have different opinions on things, you can kind of see why they have a different opinion and tailor your thoughts with theirs and kind of, have a middle ground of things. If you can try to understand a person, maybe you won't know why maybe you don't agree with what they think, but if you know why they think that way, it can really help you guys lead to a common ground, a good meeting point to where if you understand the person, then you understand what they hold dear. You understand their values, their path, and you can kind of work with that. If it's just, this is the only way to do it, and no, but this is the only way to do it, and no one will ever listen to each other, you'll always be butting heads on everything. Everything. Doesn't matter what. The relationship works, you'll always be butting heads on things. So really just giving up the need to be right and embracing the ability to understand why they think what they think it'll make so many things easier in your life. So many things. And maybe as you watch this, you feel like, okay, come on, Atlas. I know this stuff. Tell me something I don't know. I've heard all of this. But the thing is, if you're not doing it, then you don't know it. You've heard it. You definitely heard it. But you don't know it. Because if you do know it, then you know why it works. And you know why it doesn't in some cases. You know because you've done it. And doing is like the most important thing. If you could just go out there and do it. People can give you advice all day. People can show you how things work all day. But if you don't do it yourself, you don't know it. So what I do now is a complete 360 from what I used to do. I was working in a music store, playing guitar, folding t-shirts. Then in this job, it's all data analytics and system process and everything. And it's interesting that even though these people that you work with are completely different, they're kind of the same. I mean, we're all human. There are these trends and there are these patterns and things that really, it helps you get through anything. You can just kind of really get a feel for a person. And honestly, the more you want to do something like that, the more you want to understand people, the more people want to understand you. The more that people start to really care about you as well, which is a good thing. It feels good. It's good to be understood. It's good to be heard. So give that to someone else. Let someone else feel that way, and it'll come back to you. It always does. It doesn't always, but sometimes does. Most time does. Like 90, 95, 92. 92% of the time, it'll come back to you in a good way.